Hey comic book fans, welcome back to the Comic Fix. In today's video, I am going to be doing an all-indie segment, and we're going to be starting off with Avatar's new book, God is Dead, by Jonathan Hickman. I didn't hear about this book until the day I went to my comic book shop, and I saw on there, Jonathan Hickman. I was like, yes, I gotta read this, because everything that this guy puts out is fantastic. So, I looked at the cover, and on the cover you see the lotus flower with the God is Dead. And I thought, man, is this book going to be controversial? Because just from the cover alone, you know it's going to be controversial. And as I started to read it, I found out, I was like, it's not as controversial as I thought. So what has happened? The gods have seen what us humans have done to the world. And they are not happy. They said, we gave this to you and you are just spitting on it and not treating it the way that we wanted you to treat it. So we're going to take it back. Slowly, these godlike creatures from Zeus to the sun gods to every single god in between come to Earth. And on that day, everything changes. And I just love the way that Jonathan Hickman's doing the story in this book. Specifically, the art. The art in here is amazing. There's this one panel that I absolutely love where you see Zeus. He's coming into Greece, and you see these doves, and they're just flying. The way that the artist does this, it makes it look like it's like a moving panel. It's so beautiful. This book has a lot to it, a lot of substance, and a lot of care that went into this book. Jonathan Hickman is one of the best writers that's out there. Go and try to find this book. It is just amazing. And if your comic book shop doesn't have this book or hasn't even heard of this book, because this is the first time I heard about this and the first time I ever heard about Avatar comics, tell your comic shop, go and order God is Dead. Because let me tell you people, this book right here is something special, and I would love for everybody to try it out. So go and try it out, and it's God is Dead, and it gets a 5 out of 5. Now it's time to take a look at Image with Reality Check issue number 1. Meet Willard Penn. He is a guy who is down on his luck. He's overweight. He's just like you or I. He loves his comics. He loves to write them. And he is down on his luck. You see throughout this issue, seeing how relatable this guy is. There's times in there where he's just drawing a picture of this woman that he saw and just trying to get ideas for this comic he was trying to write. I absolutely love this scene where he's doing the doodle and this girl comes behind him and says, "Oh, is that me?" And she looks a little bit impressed, and you just see the demeanor of Willard, and you're just like, I relate to this guy. I mean, he's not so good with the women. He's just an average guy. And it's actually quite nice to see. Now, Willard has this great idea. He's going to make this superhero called Dark Hour. Now he goes to this comic label and they say, we'll sign you right now. And he's finally having success. Until one day, the superhero comes and meets him in his room. Now that's basically the whole premise of this book, is an average guy who has this strange outing with this person that he created. Now reading this book, it had a lot of similarities to just an average person. I mean, I related to this character quite a bit up until the superhero part happened. Now, the superhero, he wants one thing, is to show him love, or how to get into a relationship and how to love himself. Now, that whole premise right there, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be great. I don't know if it's going to be terrible, but I'm intrigued. I mean, it gave us a little bit. It gave us a lot of backstory to who Willard is and to who his family was, specifically his brother. Now, when they get into the whole brother segments, that is where I thought the book really shined. You could definitely tell the writer, when he was writing these segments, it all flowed very naturally. I absolutely loved it. But this book was kind of a mixed bag. I don't know what to expect from this series, but what I do know is that issue 1 is a pretty fun ride, and I think a lot of us comic fans would relate to Willard, and maybe, just maybe, a great series or maybe just a piss poor series. But for now, I'm kind of on the edge, and I'm going to give the second issue a try, and maybe, just maybe, this will be a special series. So, Reality Check, issue number 2 gets a 3 out of 5. My last number 1 issue for this week is Hit by Boom Studios. This book right here, I just picked up just because it was a number 1 issue, and it was an indie title, and I did not know what to expect. Which you're going to find out, that's what I'm coming in with all these indie titles. You don't know what to expect. And that's what the great thing about it. Because once you find that book, you're just like, wow, this is the reason why I read indie titles. So, The Hit is a story about this police officer, or a detective. And he does a little bit more. It's the 1950s and anything goes. He is a hitman for the police. To see this person go down this dark path is such an interesting concept. To see that the police are seeing that our justice system is not working up to its potential. There was this one crime boss that got away with murder. And the police thought, we will take care of this on our own. They call on one guy, and one guy only. And that's Harvey. Now, when you meet Harvey, you just see him as this person that's not relatable. Up until the point where you see him interacting with all these characters that knows what he does, but they don't want to acknowledge it or lead on that they actually know. But of course, Harvey knows. Now Harvey, he is on the trail of this one crime family who is trying to get drugs into his sector. And so he's trying to take him down. And what you see is just this story, just the shit just piling on and piling on and piling on. You never know what to expect with each and every page. Just the consequences to Harvey's actions just get worse and worse and worse. Up until the point where you're at the end and you're just at the edge of your seat. You're just like, what the hell is going to happen? Now, the thing that I thought took the cake on this whole entire series was the artist, Vanessa R. Del Rey. Her artwork in here, most specifically her panel layouts, are absolutely stunning. The way how she has every single panel, the way how she has everything set up within that panel is breathtaking. I mean, every single panel has such interesting little things in there that you can just stare at those panels and see new things every single time you read the book. This is a 4-issue limited series, and for 4 issues and one and done kind of story, I'm interested. I want to read this. I'm going to be putting this book on my pull list. You guys will be seeing another review of this book next month. This was a surprise for me. It's a noir type of story that just has you intrigued from the get-go. You don't know what to expect going in, but once you get out, you want more. And that's what I love about indie comics is that you never know you never know what you're gonna get, but what you get sometimes will shock you and make you so glad that you gave that book a chance. So, Hit issue number 1 of 4 gets a 4 out of 5. The last creator-owned book that I had this week comes from Vertigo, and it's Jeff Lemire's Trillium issue number 2. Trillium last month was the smash hit, the one that shocked me the most by how good it was. Jeff Lemire, he's doing the writing and the artwork, and he got his hands full, but his vision is coming to life. Now, in this issue, we have Nika and Williams finally meeting each other. In last issue, we had a little bit of a kind of twist on how we read comics. Now, the first half you would read just like so, and then you get to the middle of the book, and then you have to flip it over to get the second half of the story. Now, in here, I was wondering, how is he going to do with another gimmick to sell this book? What he does is each page has a different person's perspective on what they're saying. So you'll start off with Williams. He started talking, and then you'll hear Nika talking to him. And you'll just see that he can't understand it, so you couldn't understand what her response was. Then you'll flip it over to the next page, and it'll be her point of view. And it was all so interesting. I mean, this could have been a colossal mistake on his part, but the way he does the writing, you just feel that you know as much as our main characters do. And it's so freaking fantastic the way how it is done. Now, one thing I really like is with each character, the panel layouts is different. With Williams, he'll have one panel, and then he'll have 6 little boxes below that. And now with Nika, whenever she's her time to speak, or you understand her, she always has a circle in her panel. It's so interesting to see the way that Jeff Lemire is doing this. I think he's breaking boundaries almost with what you come to expect with each and every issue. I don't know what he's going to do with the next issue, because at the end of this issue just made you go, oh my god, I want more. And that's what I want out of every single issue, is where I'm just want more. Now this issue was fantastic. It gets a 5 out of 5. Trillium has just been a mind-blowing experience, a mind-blowing read. If you haven't given this a chance, you go on Comixology. I believe you could pick it up for like $1.99, the first issue, and then you go to your local comic book shop and read issue number 2. Trust me, people, you will not be disappointed with what you read here. The only thing I can say that maybe a little bit to get used to is Jeff Lemire's artwork. It's not the most, how would I say it? It's not the most commercial type of artwork. It definitely does have some getting used to, but when you get used to it and you see the stuff he's doing, your mind's gonna be blown. And I gotta say, people, I have been reading a lot of DC and a little bit of Marvel, but every single time I go into a creator-owned book, I feel that I am getting the full potential out of these writers. Because as you all should know, is that DC has went and taken off the writing team off of Batwoman, and it was just devastating to hear about that news. And then to hear that the writers are always saying that the editorial staff is not letting them do the stories that they want to tell. And then when you see these writers go and do some independent comics, you'll see the full potential of these writers. And it's just mind-blowing. I just love going into my local comic book shop right now and not knowing what to expect. Usually when I went to the comic book shop, I would have a list. And with that list will be the Marvel and DC books that I want. And I'll always see these independent comics, but I'll never give them a try. But now I was just like, I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing all these writers saying our vision is not being met by Marvel or DC. Mostly DC. Like 100% of it's DC. And so I was just like, I am fucking tired of seeing DC just dicking these writers. Because when I originally went into comics, I was going in for the characters, not the writers and the artists. Now that I've been investing myself into the whole experience of comics, I'm finding out that it's all about the writer and the artist that are behind the book and not the characters themselves. And so to see the way that DC has been just bashing the writers and seeing these writers leaving, just fed up with them, I'm fed up too. And I support my writers, and I just love finding these new guys, these new talent in this indie section. I would recommend everybody go out and just pick out one indie title. Just be like, you look at it and you be like, oh, I'll give it a try. Because a lot of times it's either like $2.99, and you get so much more out of it than you would out of a DC or Marvel title. And it's just a great world out there in comics. So that's it for this indie section of my comic video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below, what indie title should I be looking at? Like I went and picked up Hoax Hunters Volume 1. I'm going to be doing a review of that. Let me know what series you want me to look at and maybe do a review of. Comment below, let me know. Subscribe, like. You guys know what to do. I'll see you guys next time.